Just a year after the Scream franchise launched, the fifth movie in the series, Scream 6, was released. Scream 6 features many of the same characters, such as Sam and Tara from Scream 5, although notably Neve Campbell is absent. Now, the franchise decided to take things in a different direction for this movie, changing the setting outside of the fictional town of Woodsboro and having the story set in New York City. Now, in general, I thought this was a good move. However, it didn't seem to matter as the movie was flawed in a number of ways. And we've seen some other franchises do this. Off the top of my head, the one that comes to mind is Friday the 13th, the 8th movie, Jason Went to Manhattan. Most of those movies were set, of course, at Camp Crystal Lake. Now, the first thing I need to talk about in this movie was the ending and just how silly it was. For the first time, there were 3 killers, all of whom managed to get close to the core 4. They are all Richie's family. One of the killers from Scream 5, if you recall. Now, his sister Quinn manages somehow to room with both main characters, Samantha and Tara, and hide her true identity. Just let that sink in for a moment. Sam, who's highly paranoid and still recovering from the event, somehow she's not going to be able to vet this girl and figure out who she is. How hard would it be to do just some quick internet searches and find her social media presence prior to Richie's killing? This is such a massive flaw that it goes without saying even a halfway decent PI could find and verify her identity in an afternoon. Now, this was sort of done in Scream 2 with Billy's mom, if you recall, but the 90s were much different back then, and hiding your identity was a lot easier. Not to mention, Billy's mom just posed as a reporter. That said, the same could be said for Ethan, who goes in rooms with Mason. Mason isn't as paranoid as Sam, but after getting stabbed multiple times, I think even he would be careful about who his roommate was. Still, this doesn't even cover how dumb of a twist it was, making the father or Detective Bailey the architect of the killing. It makes sense, he has the motivation and all, but another flaw here is once Richie was exposed to be the killer, there's simply no way the family wouldn't get tracked down and exposed by the media. There would be people coming out of the woodwork, people who went to school with the family, people who knew them from sports, other activities. So this storyline around the family being able to hide its identity this day and age is just a complete joke and pretty much ruins the movie. Also, if a cop wanted revenge, which could be understandable, I think he would just plot it himself and not go through the whole Ghostface charade. Now, one other big flaw in the movie was the death of Quinn, if you recall. Somehow, and she didn't really die, somehow the killers were able to convince Sam and Tara that Quinn had been killed. Now, the detective said he was able to arrive first and switch the bodies out on the scene. Okay. Wouldn't CSI or basically any other person at the scene be able to immediately tell it wasn't his daughter? I mean, they do know how long a body has been dead. And what are the odds he would be able to even find a corpse that resembled his daughter? Did a woman or a woman who looked pretty much like her just die like 2 hours before they plotted this thing? It makes really no sense. There's definitely one other thing that bothered me in this movie, and this really had to do, and this might be just me nitpicking, it's the scene where Kirby and Mindy are discussing horror movies. One pick in particular really drove me nuts. Candyman. Both say the original and the remake are about the same. Are you kidding me here? What terrible horror movie analysis. Are the writers just trying to suck up to Jordan Peele here? Now, in sum, Scream 6 tried something different for the franchise, and for that I give it some props, but the movie had too many plot holes and things that just didn't make sense. Let's hope Scream 7 steps up and can give us another positive or another good Scream movie. I heard this movie coming up is going to have Neve Campbell and her family as kind of the center people being targeted. So that should be good. It should be, good to see Neve Campbell maybe do just one more of these movies and then kind of step away. Anyhow, let me know any thoughts, comments you have on this film. Thanks.